Hey, my friends, welcome back to Nina's Virtue. There's so much surrounding what should be done and when is the right time to take the leap, but I want to highlight movement as a token to your riches. Movement as a significant turning point that aligns you to your desires. Whether it be a missed opportunity, being let go from a job, being late, it's all in some way a form of movement that equips you for the next step on your journey. We've discussed obedience over delay, but have we begun to understand the fruit obedience produces? We've actually been watering our seed, a seed not known by many, but trusted by few, watered by your trust in God's timing, destined for a mighty return. Resistance cannot fill in the spaces where your new is ready to begin. John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. This verse reminds us that God is our source, and yet we can have moments where confusion or the pressure of fast-paced results drives us further from what He is seeking to do with our vision. Giving God your yes can be trying. It can feel inconvenient. It may even leave you questioning your strength or your good qualities. But He promises you that if you remain in Him, which is the true notion of staying aligned with His Spirit that dwells inside of you, this connection will bear fruit through your acts. Obedience becomes evidence not only that your vision is worthy, but that God Himself is your partner who desires your success. Psychologists have noted the self-determination theory as an idea that true motivation flows from autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Obedience goes hand in hand with all three. Autonomy declares, I choose this. God invites you to a type of surrender that you finally accept. This is a motivation that shines a light on you feeling a sense of ownership over your decision. Competence boosts the belief, the self-belief of, I can do this. Collaborating with God on this journey of purposeful pursuit positions your growth and provides evidence that as He develops your gifts and strengthens you, your confidence grows because your capability is supported by Him. And lastly, relatedness affirms, I'm connected as I pursue this. You're not striving alone. You stay motivated when you feel supported, seen, and connected to others or to a greater cause. This is where purpose and accountability stand firm, noting that God doesn't coerce us, but He equips and connects us. Obedience here is the framework of flourishing. Do you feel a shift? Encouraging the thought that this theory is not just an idea, but a lived truth. Apart from this connection, you will bear nothing. A silent spirit man is a silenced workroom. No vision, no well-executed plan can come from a vineless tree. The branch cannot manufacture fruit on its own. It must remain in the vine. Lately, I've been listening to Neville Goddard. I'm very much into people who are rooted in telling you about your vibration and positive thinking. And recently I came across him saying the spiritual man speaks to the natural man through the language of desire. The key to progress lies in ready obedience to its voice. Unhesitating obedience to its voice is an immediate assumption of the wish fulfilled. For me, it gave me, I guess, a vision in a sense that obedience doesn't just plant, it brings forth the harvest. Your spiritual self communicates through desire. It is a deeper pull toward who you are called to be. Progress happens when you obey the inner prompting instead of resisting it. This is a space where you listen when your spirit nudges you. You respond without hesitation. You follow the instruction your deeper self gives, and you refrain from second guessing your call to be more expressive. Goddard is telling us that when your spirit reveals a desire aligned with true identity, progress is activated. Your shift from waiting for evidence to acting like it's already done. You are now embodying who you were once only thinking of becoming. Science teaches that activation energy is the initial push required to start a reaction. Energy is the spark required to break that inertia. Deuteronomy 28:2 declares, "All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God." Obedience is your activation energy. It is the catalyst that triggers what God has already prepared. Blessings don't chase inactivity, they overtake movement. That movement is activated when you obey. Your part is the activation. God's part is the overflow. In chemistry, when activation energy is applied, the reaction becomes self-sustaining. Once obedience is applied, breakthrough flows on its own. The reaction can be tumultuous because there will be experiences that you feel were not brought on by God. But this is a test that builds the endurance of your faith. It is not to break you, but to strengthen you, to prepare you to navigate the blessings He grants in His timing. Momentum will indeed carry the rest. For me, obedience felt costly when I was called to move from my hometown. In taking that leap of faith and doing that move, I had to leave my career. I had to leave my salary. I had to leave my comfort zone. And I do think that I thought surrender meant loss. I thought that saying no to God was giving up on my own vision. But I think that I was actually finally releasing something that was stopping me from going for my vision, for pursuing my calling. I found that obedience became the doorway to a joy I couldn't manufacture. What I thought was sacrifice became seed. And though I'm still waiting for my harvest, I believe that I would have never actually been able to capture the flow of what's due to me if I wasn't willing to leave what I had already grown in. And I mean, I guess that's to say, sometimes there are places that you go in life where you have reached the end point. You have reached your goals. You have pivoted. You have reached the new level, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like back home, that's what I did. All the things that I prayed for, that I asked for, God gave it to me. He really did. And maybe it took me doing this episode to even come to that conclusion, but He gave me that. And I think me being called to move here kind of put me in a stance of, I can't do anything more for you in this season. Where I'm calling you to is where I'll be able to open more opportunities and more doors for the overflow to be available to you. But it can't be available in this place where you've kind of outgrown yourself, where you've actually seen your vision come to fruition. And, I've been a little down about the fact that that's a thing. I haven't even been able to see, I guess, the goodness of God and how He is a God that answers prayers. He is a God that gives you exactly what you've asked for. But once it's given to you, are you willing to be taken higher? Are you willing to be open to leaving the things that you've worked for, that you've prayed for, to see the more that He's willing to offer you? And it's noting that anything is possible if you believe, right? But letting go is really an open space for you to conquer heights that you didn't even know were achievable for you, because we get stuck in our comfort zone. But even in being stuck in our comfort zone, we come to the realization that in that comfort zone, we start to feel discomfort in recognizing that we are meant for more. And sometimes God has to pull us out of the comfort zone for us to stand in the truth of the more so that we can start meeting him where he's orchestrated things. And I don't think I would have been able to meet this version of myself back home because I was allowing outside circumstances to kind of confine and define the person that I was willing to be for the rest of my life, aside from the person that I desired to be. So today, don't despise the seed of obedience. Plant it, water it, guard it, and watch your orchid rise. Activation energy breaks the barrier. Self-determination fuels the journey. Nobody can root for you as hard as you root for yourself. And that doesn't mean that people are not rooting for you, but people can only push you as far as you are willing to go. There are people you will have in your life that see your potential, but because they see that you are also your biggest enemy or your biggest block, they can't fight that battle for you. So be determined this week. Activate the energy that wants to push past the norm of what you believe to be true for you. See that obedience is your fruit. It is your orchid rising from the seed you planted in trust. May we see obedience not as a burden, but as the seed of life. May the fruit of obedience be evident in every corner of our lives. Let anyone listening understand that in your timing, everything has a chance to grow and be made new. There is refinement that is occurring in us that is urging us to change our mindset to see the good in the things that you are doing that we do not yet understand. Father God, we are praying for clarity. We are praying for strength. And we are praying for the wisdom to carry on. Trust that what you are doing is bigger than what we can see, bigger than what we can do for ourselves. Thanks, guys, for joining me on today's episode. I kind of didn't know where I was going with this because, I feel like we've already talked about obedience and how it has to be a choice that we choose. But maybe obedience is being able to see that there was a time where you were obedient in the past that you didn't necessarily want to be obedient, but it gave you some flowers that you didn't even know that you were tending to properly, that you didn't even know that you were speaking life over, but it provided you with something. So every time you are told to do something that seems out of the norm or that seems like something you don't want to necessarily do, I just hope that you see it for what it is and that you trust that it's working out for you.